All right, folks. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. Well, this is kind of a review of what's been happening, you know, around the world. And, all right, folks. And, sorry about that. And the affairs that's been going on. And let me tell you, this week has been a very hectic week in the media. It's been ups and downs, and people have been having some things to say, some very salacious things to say, about the president, his decision to strike Nigeria, the war that's going on over in Kiev, and the infamous interview that Nicki Minaj had with Erika Kirk, that's Charlie Kirk's widow, right? And some people have some rave review for the interview, while others have some not too savory comments that they have made. So I've pulled up a few videos that I would like to go over and watch with you. And that would be it for me going forward with what I have to say. It's interesting, though, that some people are saying what's happened in Nigeria and it shouldn't have happened. And it's interesting that some people have very, very mean comments about what Nicki Minaj says, that she's basically it's a psyop operation, psychological operation. So, with that being said, let me jump into the videos. All right, give me a second. Let me pull that up. All right, so the first one I'm going to play, it's about what's going on in Kiev. All right, and let's hear what this commentator has to say. All right, so let me pull that up and get this going.
Stick missile and as Donald Trump rots away at Mar-a-Lago, ranting and raving like a lunatic, all alone, all by himself. That's what's going on in Kyiv right now. Russia unleashed a ballistic missile and drone strike, 500 drones, 400 missiles targeting Kyiv. We know that there are already numerous people who have died, including children. President Zelensky has just responded. He says, today Russia showed how it reacts to peace negotiations between Ukraine and the United States regarding ending Russia's war against Ukraine. They massively attacked Ukraine precisely on the way to peace negotiations. Russia shows its response, and Zelensky is supposed to be meeting with Donald Trump tomorrow at Mar-a-Lago, and this is what Putin does. Also, we know that yesterday Donald Trump put out a statement basically attacking Zelensky for peace negotiations. I covered it in a video I did this morning, saying nothing gets done without me. You have this chart right here that Senator Murphy posted. Take a look at it. You can see that the drone and ballistic strikes have dramatically increased by massive amounts since Donald Trump's been in office. Putin views Donald Trump as weak, and Putin views Donald Trump as a Putin bootlicker, which I think is accurately what's taking place right now, as Donald Trump rants and raves like a lunatic.
Many people have been saying they've been having their opinions and saying that Donald Trump went into office running under the no war, the peace president, and people are now pushing back, saying that it's opposite of what he says. Like all the rhetoric that he exposed, is not what he's showing. All right, so let's continue.
In Palm Beach right now, where again he's golfing on the taxpayer dime. He's also making posts like this: tariffs are creating great wealth.
Gaza's population
All right, so
is on the brink of famine.
let's move forward.
And unprecedented national security for the USA. The trade deficit has been cut by 60%, totally unheard of. 4.3% GDP and going way up. No inflation. We are respected as a country again. We've never been respected less than we are right now. Our allies are frankly no longer allies. Our enemies are laughing at us and taking advantage of us. As you know, I mean, when Donald Trump says there's no inflation, isn't that one of the most insulting things imaginable? Like, he really thinks that you're stupid. Like, he really thinks that all you do is regurgitate his MAGA mush. And there may be some people in MAGA who still do that, but overwhelmingly, the United States is done with this vile individual and recognize that he's a liar about everything.
I think his opinion on the other side, it's opposite. Because while he's saying that America's done with Trump, others are loving what Trump is doing. Right? So the opinions varies, and they vary very vastly. Of course, there's like three factions right now. Right? There are the left, they call the leftists, and they're the right, the far right, and then there's that middle group of people that supported Donald Trump that no longer, they're very displeased, unhappy, and are actually saying that they're no longer MAGA. So they're right in the middle right now, and it's like, that's like purgatory. So people have difference of opinion. Some people are very happy with what's going on with what Trump is doing, while others are very upset at what Trump is doing. Let's continue.
And I mean everything. And this is why it's important that we have independent media. By the way, make sure you hit subscribe to this YouTube channel and help us get to 6 million subscribers, because there's absolutely that we focus critically on what's happening, out there. So like when Donald Trump says that, he was protecting the Christians in Nigeria, and that's why he engaged in this Christmas present, as he called it. I gave a Christmas present for the Christians of Nigeria, and I struck ISIS over there. We have reporting, by the way, also in Nigeria, and I've been speaking to people in Nigeria, and they confirm what I'm hearing in other places as well, that, they've hit places like Jabo and other villages with no ISIS in it at all, and people are like, what the hell is even happening here? I'll tell you what's happening. Oil and lithium. Nigeria has lots of oil and lots of lithium, and the Trump regime wants their oil and lithium. They see China making inroads into Africa. They see China making inroads not only to places like Nigeria, but Mali and other areas nearby, Burkina Faso. And
many people are saying that. I've heard it on different channels. I've heard it podcast. I've heard just people talking, and they're saying they have the very same sentiments that media Midas have, right? So it might very well be so, because usually that's the case. A superpower wants resources, and they go after a lesser power and take all the resources. So that might be the case, right? And using the geist of Christianity, it might be a farce that they're using that same rhetoric, like how that rhetoric was used back in the past with weapons of mass destruction. It could very well be so. We don't know. We just have to wait and see, right? Everybody is going to have their opinions, and we don't know the actual outcome. It appears that it could be that way, but hey, we don't know. Let's continue.
And this is how the Trump regime wants to take control over rare earth elements and over natural resources is one of the things. Also, the CNN did a good report on this. Nimi Princewill, writer, fear and confusion in Nigerian village hit in U.S. strike as locals say there's no history of ISIS. So villagers say that Jabo, one of the areas that were hit by these missiles, not known for any terrorist activity. The local Christians coexist peacefully with the Muslim majority. And you see people here in the village saying, I know we saw missiles that were coming and striking our village and our farms. Like,
You know, I know people from Nigeria. I know people that are American citizens living in Nigeria, and I've asked, is it so what they're saying in regards to the Muslim and Christian conflict as they're pushing to us in the media? And I was told, no, it's not true, right? It's absolutely not true. There are some kind of conflicts, but when they're saying that the Christians are being massacred, it's not true. So lots of us, we're not there, so we really don't know. But people that are actually live there, they're saying it's not true.
what the hell is even going on right here? I'm going to try to bring on a Nigerian reporter at the Midas Touch Network as well and get you some inside information there that you haven't heard, in other places. Okay. I think it's also important as Donald Trump tries to brag about, the greatest economy ever, which we know is not the case. And one of the things he points to is the stock market, as though everybody's making tons of money on the stock market, whereas unemployment is up to 4.6%. We've lost 1 million jobs in this past year. Unemployment increased 54% year over year. That's not a good thing. You don't want it to increase. If you listen to the Fed, they explain that we're in what's called stagflation, right, where you have unemployment going up, and then you also have inflation going up as well at the same time. And then we also know that when it comes to the inflation data, close to 50% of the CPI data, the consumer price index, is now based on the Trump regime giving what it estimates to be the inflation data. So that's what they're relying on right now. But if you just take a look right here at the U.S. stock market and you compare it to the rest of the world, European stocks have been up 25%. Global stocks are up 30% this year. I didn't
know this.
And U.S. stocks are up around 18% this year. It's not bad. It's good that the market is up 18%. But U.S., if you look at this chart right here, the U.S. stock market has gone up about the least of any kind of global market this year. So here's Justin Wolfers, University of Michigan professor. Here's what he had to say. Let's play this clip right here.
One thing I really want to come back to is we keep talking about what's happening with the S&P and the market. And this, I think, reflects too much the economic illiteracy of many in the media. It turns out global markets, the world stock market, excluding the US, has risen by 30% over the past year. If America's had a fantastic year, how much do you reckon we've grown if the rest of the world grew 30%? Well, in fact, we've grown 18%. We've underperformed the global market by 12%. If you look at what's happening around the world, American stocks have risen by less than almost any other leading country. It's been a miserable year for the American investor if you know enough to compare them to other investors.
I think it's important in the Trump regime that we get an accurate media diet. We understand what's going on right now, and we get our news from a lot of sources. So I often get asked, well, what news source do you use in the morning to help you prepare for these videos? What do you look at? Well, I stay up to date on the news by going to my go-to news source, which is called Ground News. You all know I love Ground News. It's my top research tool. It's a subscriber-funded app and news site, and every day they pull in thousands of articles from around the world, and they organize them by story, and then show you what is the right reporting, what is the center reporting, and what is the left reporting. And it's a game changer, because as active, responsible citizens, we must get our news from reliable sources.
Let's move forward just a little bit.
But that's why we love Ground News for media subscriptionally covered by one side of the Mexico agreement and how the 2026 Kuzma review and U.S. midterms have. If you look 12% at ground.news/MTN, subscriber funded, and on this
YouTube
go forward a bit. And we pin the link to deal. The Trump regime, again, is trying to, in my view, kind of extort and threaten Canada that it's going to pull out of the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, or in Canada they call it CUSMA. And this is part of Donald Trump's leverage to try to, turn Canada into the 51st state or whatever. And it's important that we recognize that there was an existing free trade relationship between the United States and Canada. I know right-wing media wants to pretend that that doesn't exist, but it does exist. And I just think if you look at what some right-wing influencers or people who voted for Trump are saying, I think it's important to listen, because I think Trump's betrayal on the Epstein files, I think Trump's constant gaslighting is really causing, a rift. And people even who voted for Trump are saying, let's break down these issues. I thought Christian Cooper she's someone who voted for Trump, and she's explaining here why she's on a MAGA influencer unfollowing spree. And again, I just think it's important that we listen to what people who voted for Trump are saying about him right now. Take a listen to this. Let's play this clip.
Excuse me?
Let's skip this and move forward.
MAGA influencer unfollow spree. And let me tell you why. The mental gymnastics required to stand by your man under these conditions truly, in my opinion, is Olympic level. And I have followed some of these people for years, admired their ability to speak out when the opinion was unpopular. But now I'm starting to think, okay, they were countering the system, but not countering the system, which is the reason why many of us voted for this administration in the first place. Here's some of my problems with this administration. The Epstein list, okay? Referring to the Epstein list as the Epstein hoax after running your entire campaign on that is a slap in the face to all of us. Do you think we are stupid? You cannot gaslight me enough into forgetting that this admin said they were going to release the Epstein list. Pam Bondi said it was on her desk, okay? We are still sending billions of dollars overseas to fund foreign wars, denying America's interest, right? We've got some problems here in the mainland. Approving PFA pesticides to be sprayed all over our fruit and vegetables. It's not limited to your fruit and vegetables. This is going into our soil. It's going to leak into our water supply. We are going to be drinking it. Forever chemicals are linked to hormone disruption, thyroid dysfunction, cancer. It's an atrocity. When we're talking about making America healthy again, PFA pesticides is crazy. Debt normalization, 50-year mortgages, essentially saying your kids will never own anything ever. They will never own that.
There's a saying, and it's been said for many, many years. Usually people in the upper class, the upper echelon, they understand this saying. Okay? Own nothing but control everything. They own nothing on paper, but they control a vast amount of wealth, a vast amount of infrastructure, real estate, and all of that stuff. But their name is not on paper, and they do that through owning businesses and trust and life insurance, different ways, different strategies that they use to be able to control the assets that they want to control. On the other hand, we, the general public, the saying is own nothing and be happy, which is the direction that we're being pushed into, to where we'll own nothing. We'll get a 30-year mortgage, and now it's been touted to Trump's been trying to push a 50-year mortgage, and a lot of real estate investors and developers and consumers are saying that is ridiculous. However, understand this now, that you get a mortgage to buy a house and you pay off for that house. You don't own the land. The land is not yours. You will never own the land. So the house essentially is not your house. You're paying rent to the government for being on that land. You own the physical house, but if you don't pay taxes on that land, the house is taken away. So you don't own anything. And there are other things that I understand that I could tell you, like about insurance, right? registration for your car and stuff like that. There's so many different things that people don't really understand, and I don't want to get into it. However, just understand that it's been pushed, and understand that we are being breaded or led to own nothing and be happy. Let's continue.
Plot of land, the American dream, they're never going to own their own home. The fact that 90% of Black Friday purchases were made using a buy now, pay later like Klarna, that's also crazy. Surveillance expansion through Palantir. Think China during COVID. Yeah, that sounds extreme, doesn't it? That is how rapidly this administration is advancing AI. They're advancing it so quickly. They had to put out a statement to state governments saying, if you try to put regulations around AI, we're coming for you too. That is how much this federal government wants to advance AI and data centralization. So freaking scary. And then you can't ask anything about any of this. If you start asking questions, you were never really MAGA. You're not based, right? All this infighting is caused by Candace and Tucker. Y'all, please be so serious. Don't insult our intelligence like that, right? We might like Candace and Tucker, but they're not changing our opinions. They're just saying what a lot of us are thinking.
You know, and you hear what she's saying, and then take a look at what Democratic Senator Ron Wyden explained earlier this year, where he talks about how Trump's Treasury Department is covering up 4,725 wire transfers, totaling $1.1 billion
to where?
A money laundering scheme that Epstein was engaged in with other right-wing billionaires and billionaires in general. I don't care whether you're right-wing or left-wing or center. If you're involved in this, this should be exposed. It's that simple.
Come on, you know that's not going to be exposed. You know that's not going to be exposed.
For nutritional support, so you never miss a.
Let's move this forward. We don't want this. We don't want this. Like, you know, I'm sorry for the ads because I'm playing this live from the channel. But let's continue.
The Biden administration allowed our investigators.
Let's go back a second.
Senator Wyden, let's play it.
Last year, the Biden administration allowed our investigators to look at portions of the file. We did that at the Treasury building. Here is what it says. Treasury's Epstein file details, Mr. President, 4,725 wire transfers. Let me repeat that. 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly $1.1 billion flowing in and out of just one of Mr. Epstein's bank accounts. If you ask me, that is more than 4,000 potential lines of investigation right there. Hundreds of millions more flowed through other accounts. That's even a lot more to investigate.
You know, when you're well off, you have a lot of resources, a lot of money, and you are used to moving money through your account. Like the bank knows that you move money to your account all the time because you have hundreds of millions of dollars. All right? They're not really paying too much attention to the transactions that are going through their account because this is understood that monies are going to be moved around because transaction needs to be done, business needs to be done, so money needs to be moved around so purchases can be made or investments can be done. So the understanding that the monies are not being tracked, like as if a person that doesn't have a lot of money and they don't move money through their account, and then all of a sudden a great deal of money start moving through their account, that's going to raise red flags, right? And then they're going to put a watch on that account. So there's a difference with having a large sum of money and constantly moving monies through your account versus having a kind of like a static account and only once in a while funds get moved through your account, like your direct deposit, or you pay a bill here and there and buy some food here and there, and then all of a sudden, boom, $10,000 get dropped in your account. that's going to raise red flags. But if you have 10 million in your account and you move 1 million out and 1 million in, 2 million out and 2 million in, 5 million out and 5 million in, that's not going to raise any red flags because you have that kind of money. You're always moving money. All right. So you have to also be mindful of that. All right. Let's continue.
The file shows that Mr. Epstein used multiple Russian banks, which are now under sanctions, to process payments related to sex trafficking.
Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, we know that there will be a meeting taking place between Zelensky and Donald Trump that's supposed to take place tomorrow. Russia's response to this meeting was to engage in that horrific ballistic missile strike that we showed you at the beginning. Also, one of the things that Russia tried to do is destroy a critical dam, the Kiev HPP dam, which could, if that flooded, could have killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Wow.
They fortunately were not able to strike that dam, but they are certainly trying to strike that dam. And we see what Putin's doing in advance of this meeting between Donald Trump and Zelensky that's supposed to take place tomorrow. Do you have any doubt whether or not Donald Trump and Putin are coordinating this one way or another? You could ask yourself that question. And then finally, as the main wonk account points out, the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire in 5 days. Trump's government runs out of money in a month, where there will be another government shutdown in a month from now. And congressional Republicans refuse to put the American people first and compromise to find workable solutions to any of this right now. There you have it. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And thank you.
You have to understand something here, guys. Right? A lot of the wars that's going on, they are proxy wars because certain regimes are trying to the act or the possibility or the desire to overthrow certain governments, certain regimes, it's in place, and that's how it works. Like, we can't get around that. You know, a government wants something, and they're a superpower. They're going to overthrow a certain government that's saying no, or they're going to do other things like unalive those leaders of those governments, and then put their puppet government in. This is just how it works, right? This is just, it's war. And with war comes the spoils of war. You have to put in place certain actions that you want to occur. You have to put the different mechanisms in place to get those actions to happen in your favor. That's just how war works, right? So whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Putin, whether it's Xi Jinping, whether it's who else, the president of any country, whether it's the United States, Europe, Africa, Australia, they will put whatever they need to put in place to get another to be subservient, so they can dominate and take their resources. There's no way around that. That's just how war works. All right. So while understanding that, let's go to the Nigeria so we can clear up. We can have some perspective of what actually is happening in Nigeria. So we hear Midas on Midas channel, Midas Touch channel, give some insights, and want to go over and actually play some audio from what they're saying over in Nigeria. All right, let's do that.
Not available in all states or situations.
The Nigerian government took the time to debunk President Trump's claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria after he announced the bombing of Africa's most populous and most oil-rich nation. The United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing, primarily innocent Christians, at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. Trump announced on Truth Social Christmas night, "I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay, and tonight there was." The issue with right-wing claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria is that terror groups and militias are killing everyone, Christians and Muslims alike. The Nigerian government, which says it provided intelligence to the Trump administration before the strikes, clarified what they were really about. Nigeria reiterates that all counterterrorism efforts are guided by the primacy of protecting civilian lives, safeguarding national unity, and upholding the rights and dignity of all citizens, irrespective of faith or ethnicity. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs wrote in a statement, "Terrorist violence in any form, whether directed at Christians, Muslims, or other communities, remains an affront to Nigeria's values and to international peace and security." Nigeria has spent months attempting to clarify this point, as the right has spent months attempting to justify violent U.S. intervention to protect Christians, with Trump threatening to enter Nigeria, gun a-blazing, just last month. This is not a Christian genocide because the facts do not support it, Good Governance Nigeria researcher Malik Samuel said in November. If you look at the areas where this conflict is rife, even if you take Borno State alone, you look at northern Borno, many of these communities are Muslim-dominated. So most of the victims of Boko Haram violence are Muslims. Trump is running with this much like he ran with the absurd claims of white genocide in South Africa, and both Christian and Muslims in Nigeria will suffer the consequences.
You know, like I said, I spoke with people that I know that live in Nigeria, and they told me what we are hearing in the United States and what's been touted, it's not accurate, it's not true. But we've been told one thing in the States, right? We've been told one thing in the States, and I know people are telling me that it's not really true. Maybe the government have some other intelligence that we don't know about, but the bombing took place in Nigeria, and it said that civilians got injured, and the media is saying, and the president is saying that the strikes were targeted and precise. But listen, as civilians, we can only have our comments on it, our thoughts on it, and we can debate amongst each other, but we don't have the intelligence that the government have, right? We don't have the intelligence, right? And they could very well be lying to us because they want the resources, because that's usually what wars are about, resources, right? All right, let's continue. Let me pull up the next thing on the block. So, a lot of us know that Nicki Minaj had an interview with Erika Kirk, and many people have been very upset that Nicki Minaj decided to say the things she said. Honestly, I did not really have an opinion, because we can waste our breath having opinions. We can waste our breath saying this and saying that, but it's already out there. She said those things. It's on recording. Can we take it back? Can we go online and remove those things? We can be just upset that she said it or happy that she said it. We can't change it. She made the decision. I've heard people said that she deleted her Instagram. I don't know how true that is. So much so that I have not even gone to look if Nicki Minaj deleted her Instagram. Let me check Instagram. And let me search if that's true, because they said that she's been losing subscribers and followers by the millions, right? So let me type her in. Nicki Minaj. So what's Nicki Minaj actual Instagram? Let me do a different way, because I want to see if it's true that Nicki Minaj is actually losing millions of subscribers on Instagram and elsewhere. So give me a second. Nicki Minaj Instagram. See how true that is. It says, all right, let me read this. Let me read this. Actually, it says Nicki Minaj deactivated Instagram after Turning Point USA event appearance with Erika Kirk. Right. This was published on December 25th, which is Christmas Day. Right. So let's see how true that is. So let's see if her Instagram account has been deleted. Nicki Minaj. What's Nicki Minaj Instagram account? I've actually never gone to Nicki Minaj Instagram account. I don't know her actual Instagram handle. I don't know what it's called. Nicki Minaj Instagram handle. Nicki Minaj official Instagram handle uses Nicki Minaj. So let's see. Let's go back to Instagram and type it in. Nicki Minaj. Let's see if this is her. No, I don't know how true that is. I really don't know how true that is. So I'm just wasting time looking up. But I will look. Let's play this interview.
What is something that you want to leave as a legacy in this world for your family, for your baby, for just everything?
Well, that it's okay to change your mind. Yeah. It's okay to change your mind. You don't have to, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind. They project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God. And there's been a lack of that.
I don't know if I agree what she just said. Direct link between young people and God. This is just my perspective. It is almost saying like this interview or Turning Point USA or AMFest is the pontiff, like how the Pope, the Catholic Church, and the Pope claims that the Pope is the pontiff to the Creator. I don't know. I don't know if I rock with that statement. That's just my thought. But let's continue.
There's been a lack of that in our media, in our everyday conversations. People have been, interestingly enough, people have been, Christians have been being persecuted right here in our country in different ways. So when we talk about Nigeria and other countries, know that prior administrations saw nothing wrong with that. And that's what was wrong with them.
We're Phoenix Energy.
Let's skip this and jump forward. Sorry about that, guys. I will clean this up.
I truly feel that there are people out there who felt good about chastising Christians right here in our country. And it's kind of really, really sick. We can't let people like that be in power, you guys. That's the truth. I can sugarcoat it and laugh and kiki, but the truth is, I am here today to tell you guys that. We absolutely cannot let people who have a problem with us worshiping God, we cannot have them in power. We cannot have them in power. All you have to do is look at what is happening in other places in the world. Look at what is being done to Christians all around the world. And ask yourself why people in this country that were in positions of power felt so comfortable to try to take our voices from us. They were that afraid, they are that intimidated, they are that insecure, they are that small inside that hearing us and seeing us worship God irritated them. Our spirit irritates them because when we speak, they get shown up. When the truth walks in the room, the lies hide. They don't come out willingly. You gotta pry it out of them. They hide because they don't want you or anyone to know who they really are behind closed doors, because even they know how evil it is to try to deprive people of worshiping God.
What have you, you're an amazing mother.
Thank you.
What have you seen that has been a struggle for young women today? And then also, since both of us have little boys, I would love for you to also talk about the male side of that question as well.
Okay, well, something that I've noticed recently is that for little girls, I think that no matter how you look, we should be trying to instill into them to be proud of how they look. Recently,
You know what's crazy? This statement that she just made here, no matter how a little girl look, we should instill in them to be proud of how they look. While at the same time making that statement, she is wearing fake hair, long nails, not natural, and she's saying that we should instill in girls to be proud of how they look. How about Nicki Minaj and every other artist out there, the Sexy Red, the Megan the Stallion, the Cardi B's, all of you. How about start wearing your natural hair, your natural nails, your natural eyelash, natural everything, and then you can have a voice to say, hey, without even saying it, just by your parents, that girls, be proud of how you look because we are natural. But when you have a 20 plus inch hair on your head, fake hair that's not yours, and then you saying we should tell girls to be proud of how they look, that is a big hypocrisy. That's a huge contradiction. That's a blatant falsehood. Let's call a horse what a horse is. That's a lie. You cannot really be sitting on stage saying that we should be proud. Girls should be proud of how they look when you are not setting the example. And we know that most people revere, idolize musicians, right? Please speak. If you're going to speak something, speak and do the action, do the work. Don't be a contradiction. Let's continue.
Media has almost been like a push to, it's not just making young black children feel proud of themselves, but it's almost like doing that and at the same time telling other children not to be proud of themselves. And I don't want any child feeling that way. If
I have no idea who came up with the idea to get me this.
Let's skip this. Sorry about that.
If as black women we felt that we were not being represented and not being admired for our beauty, if we felt like that as black women, why would we want to do that to other women? Amen. Why would we now need to make other people downplay their beauty so that we can feel, no, that's not how it works. I don't need someone with blonde hair and blue eyes to downplay their beauty because I know my beauty. Do you understand? It doesn't bother me that a woman feels and says that she's beautiful. Amen. Why shouldn't she feel that? Why have we gotten to a point where certain colors or certain kinds of people have to be afraid of loving themselves and loving the way they look? Mm-hmm. Like, isn't that wild? Yeah. And so for little girls, I don't want what was done to little black girls done to little white girls. I don't want it done to any girls. I want all the little girls in the world to know that you are unique. You are beautiful. You are you. And you can compliment another girl. You can compliment another woman and still know that you are epic and amazing. So that's what I would say for the girls. And I know I know my adults understand clearly where I'm going with that, I don't like that. I don't like people making other people feel badly about themselves in any way. We need to nurture young girls. Yes, whether they are black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they still need to be nurtured. They cannot continue to pay for other people's sins. They haven't done anything wrong.
Amen. So why now have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you? Yeah.
What was the turning point? Well, I just got tired of being pushed around.
Hey guys, please put your comments in the comment section. right? Share the video. All right, I appreciate you for watching. Let's continue.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get tired of it, and then you realize, wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So when you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't even know who they are. So I'm not going to back down anymore. I'm not going to back down ever again.
Amen.
Just making sure you saw the email. I need those details.
All right. Another ad. Sorry, guys. Let me skip this ad. All right. Cancel. All right. So just so we are on the same page, everyone. Right? This interview where Nicki Minaj says that we should we should help to promote black girls being proud of who they are based on how they look. That struck a nerve. That really struck a nerve with me, right? That's actually irritating to hear her say that. Let me pull something up. They said that she did cancel her Instagram account. So let me see how that if that's actually truthful. And let me put it here. Let me give me a second, guys. Let me paste and go. No, that's not that. Give me a second. Close this. Let me just pull up this information. Come on. Why won't it copy? All right, let me see. Hopefully I have Instagram open on this browser. Let me paste and go. See if I have Instagram open on this browser. No, I don't have it. All right, so I'm going to have to do this. Give me a second, guys. Just bear with me. Let me just drag it over. All right. And see if that's actually true. Let me see. Huh? I don't think this makes sense. I can't find the information where she said that, where they're saying that she deleted her account. But let me jump over to the other account, the other commentators. So the other commentators I'm going to bring in is Jimmy Dore, right? And Jimmy Dore has his opinions based on the interview. And so let me bring Jimmy Dore in. All right. So, all right. Let me do that.
Erika, in her wisdom, brought Nicki Minaj to the TPUSA thing. And she made probably the biggest blunder I've ever seen in public. If it's this is worse than George Bush saying the thing about how trying to rip on Putin and saying that he invaded Iraq and shit, that was me. I did that. So this is worse than that. If you can believe
the worst part, Jimmy, not enough fireworks in the beginning.
No, I know. So here they are sitting down. Let's watch.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
What did she mean by that?
I don't even. Whoa! Even the third time I'm watching this, it's like whoa.
What did she mean by that?
I get it because she's a rapper and you're a comic.
Yeah,
People
I
call
know,
you-
but it looks
yeah.
to me like MK Ultra is getting sloppy.
Well, that's been a while.
Oopsie daisy. JD Vance is the kind of hitman you just naturally trust, I guess. Like in an animated film where the little kid is friends with the alligator, like that kind of. But let's watch this again. This is real. This
He
may
did
be
kill
the
the Pope, right?
This may what's that?
JD Vance did kill the Pope, right?
Well,
I didn't watch I didn't play the entire interview, like the long form interview between Erika and Nicki Minaj, because I have the Jimmy Dore show up and I wanted to play his reaction towards the interview. So I didn't want to go through the whole thing and then have to go through it again, and then this video becomes super long. I have to also go in and clean up some of the ads that came in on YouTube. I'm sorry for the other platforms. I'm not going to be able to go in and clean it up like that. I would like to, but they don't have that capability as yet, like YouTube. All right, let's continue.
We know that.
Way Seth Rogen did in that movie with North Korea.
He did. We know that.
He shook his hand and then he was dead 2 days later.
That's right. So this, I think, is the most awkward cringe moment in the history of the world. I mean, it'd be like if she was sitting down with the Jackie Onassis 3 months after JFK got and said, boy, I've got some news that'll blow your head off. That's what this is like.
LBJ the assassin, we call him.
The assassin, LBJ.
I'm sorry, I'm from the rap world. I'm trying not to swear my hardest.
So let's watch.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin.
Oh my God.
JD Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
that leaves a lot of questions. That leaves a lot of questions, like when she say the assassin JD Vance, is like she knows something that we don't know, or she just made a super blunder. The assassin JD Vance. And the only reason why JD Vance is the vice president, sorry about that, is because Charlie is the one who introduced JD Vance to Donald Trump. Charlie basically, in a sense, helped to staff the administration because he's well known, AmFest, and these people are attendees and spokesmen and women at the events, and they share the same views, and it was easy for him to get them in the loop, get them in that circle, because he knows all these very powerful people in government. Let's continue.
I trust.
And when I say that, I'm my handler is talking to me in my earpiece right now.
Erica will save it, Jimmy.
Program reset alpha. Program reset alpha. Return to neutral brain. Freeze.
Oh my God. I'm getting worried about ass cheek Dolly Parton.
Watch this. So she tries to make it right. Erica's going to try to make.
There's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did. I love you.
And then they just sit there. Then they just sit there. Nobody's saying anything.
Jimmy.
Because Cardi B can't think of a way to get out. Cardi B. Nicki Minaj can't think of a way to get out of this.
Yeah, she messed up.
Jimmy, Charlie Kirk was right. A woman's place is in the home.
They're just, look how awkward this is.
You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single
laughing.
thing. And
no
They're
one's
not laughing.
No one is laughing.
You're not laughing? Are you going to laugh later at home?
Yeah. Nicki Minaj was not laughing. She was not laughing. The crowd's not laughing. Okay, here we go.
you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back.
Which
and
God?
this is what's so beautiful.
By the way, you have not let any of the criticisms roll off your back. Every one of those criticisms are stapled to your shoulders, and you carry them around everywhere you go with your lifetime supply of Kleenex tissues to wipe your eyes
while fireworks go off around you.
You haven't let. You went on TV show after TV show telling people to shut up and crying about it and calling them names and getting your resting bitch face at them. Everything in the world you did to show
take a selfie where my husband died in that tent. How about that weirdness?
To show it, we're going to get to that. It's to show it didn't. It's not. You don't let anything roll off your back. Nothing is rolling off your back. This is what. So let's go. She keeps trying. She keeps trying.
About this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this.
You care.
You wouldn't have said it.
You've been doing it for at least 2 weeks, nonstop.
True.
3 weeks probably, nonstop. Media blitz because you care about what people are saying. You all care. Ben Shapiro gave a half-hour speech because he cares that much. You took his money because you care. Everybody cares. Everybody at Charlie Kirk show cares, except Charlie.
This woman, she's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord.
Okay, all I want to... That's... Okay, here, I want to show you what Charlie thought of her. This is what Charlie thought of her.
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
100%. 100%.
And what do you think about for young men? For young men.
And for young men, don't be new scum. Yes, see, they're young men. You have...
What?
So that's what... That's
Minaj,
that's
Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls. I don't.
Flip that.
Now contrast that to what she just said. And she's inviting her on stage.
Yeah, that's like a slap in the face to her husband.
Wait, so
what, Kurt? What?
That's like a slap in the face to her husband.
This is like a really less good version of then. Remember Ice-T made Cop Killer? And then like 10 years later, he was the most beloved TV cop to old people.
Isn't that
somehow.
amazing?
And this is like an attempt to recreate that magic. And I got to say, I don't feel like it's going that well.
It's kind of amazing. Again, when I send myself stuff, I can never find it. I've been sending myself stuff.
Wow.
Dude, Charlie saying, I don't think it's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls is one of the funniest things. You don't think so, Charlie?
Well, that is the hands-down heavyweight champion of the world cringe moment in history. Hey, I'm going to show you another cringe moment from America Fest after this quick message from our sponsor. Don't go away. On its works.
Let's move forward. No. We don't want your audio. We don't want your audio. Come on. All right.
Hey, she's wearing.
Let's go back.
Done doing it again. I'm glad. Now I'm going to show you. As long as we're talking about Freudian slips, here is Erika Kirk doing it again. I'm glad. And by the way, I'm glad she's done with the mourning thing. She's wearing all white constantly. She's wearing. She wore it. I don't know if you saw her walk out at this thing. She was wearing an outfit all covered in glitter, and it would make Liberace blush.
Yeah, Battle of the Network Stars. I thought it was.
Yeah. So here's another incredible slip of the tongue moment for an honor student. Watch this.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit.
Oh, shit.
It has been a long day.
Oh, same grift that landed him the opportunity to be up there with Erika, I guess. Grift queen of the political scene. Sounds like he'd fit right in. This is real.
Candace makes money off telling people that we're liars. How much they make off Charlie's corpse and taking how much you think? And then this idiot.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift.
You know, her words ring true. The brain is thinking it, the mouth said it, and now I forgot what the term was when you say something that you really didn't want to say, but it slipped out. I forgot that term. Let me go ahead. Let me play this and while I look that up.
It has been.
It was supposed to be grit. It wasn't even supposed to be gift. She just said grift. And then she's like, oh, gift, grit, shit, can of corn, baby's born. Pants are torn.
Long day. Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey. It's all good.
Again, I'll just never get over how I applaud the way she's able to bounce back after the public assassination of her husband. She's just amazing. The way she, the outfits, the sense of humor, the media blitz to her, what's that, Kurt?
The midterms are coming. I mean, yeah, he's gone, but you know, the midterms, Jimmy.
That's right.
Life goes on to the midterms.
It's this is the whole thing. I can't get over the whole thing.
Okay.
It gets so much worse as it goes on.
What?
It's called paraparix. Okay, fudium. Okay, it's called the fudium slip. Right, that's the word I was looking. It's called the fudium slip. So there's a feud going on in the mind that you said something that you really didn't mean to say, so you unintentionally reveal it. So let me the fudium slip. So the fudium slip, which is a paraparix, saying something that unintentionally reveals your subconscious thoughts or feeling, meaning you said what you really thought but didn't mean to express. The Freudian slip. The Freudian slip, spell Freudin. Sorry, Freudin. IAN. Let me try that again. Freudian slip. Freudian slip. Right? So yeah, I knew there was a term for it. So she actually said what she meant to say, what she's thinking to say, and it unintentionally slipped. The Freudian slip.
Who's doing the
same thing Nicki Minaj did? The Freudian slip. She believed that J.D. Vance had something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. So she slipped and called him the assassin. That's what I think. Right? And I think a lot of other people are saying the exact same thing. So her real thoughts slipped out. Let's continue.
Mind control at the main office that today? Come on, is it an actual parrot? Next she's gonna let it slip that she's a pretty girl and that she wants a cracker. Okay. All right. There's more coming from TPUSA, but if you want to hear my jokes about TPUSA, come see me January 11th.
All right. That's it. That's it for that. Man, that's crazy, right? Wow. That's crazy that those blunders came out and she called the guy a grifter. And Nicki Minaj called J.D. Vance the assassin. I see, like I said, I did not watch the interview. I wanted to wait until today to kind of give a roundup of what's been going on. the war that's going on in Kiev, the strike in Nigeria, and the whirlwind of everybody giving out their opinions of Nicki Minaj being at the Turning Point USA event, which is AMFest, America Fest 2025, right? So those are occasions where Nicki Minaj slipped up with a Freudian slip and say that J.D. Vance is the assassin, and she referred to this man on stage beside her as a grifter. Yikes. Man, it makes me want to go back and watch the full interview. It makes me truly want to go and watch the full interview of what really went down with the interview, right? I didn't want to jump on this whole thing because everybody have their opinion, everybody have their thoughts, and then sometimes you hear things that are not really relevant to a discussion. People are just throwing out what they think. I didn't really want to do that, so I kind of just waited until today. All right, that's what I did, and make it just kind of wrap everything up. Wow, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. But as you can see, folks, there's wars going on across the world, right? Of course, I could have also added Venezuela on this, because Venezuela is also war going on with Venezuela. So maybe I should have put Venezuela on this list, right? Wars in Kiev, Nigeria, and Venezuela. But it is what it is, right? We are involved in so many different wars. There's a war that's going on over in Tel Aviv. In the Gaza Strip between Israel and Palestine. There's just so much going on, right? But the most recent things that have happened over the last few days in this holiday season, where it's affected a lot of people, and it's been in the news cycle, is the war that's going on in Kiev and the strike in Nigeria, and then of course the AMFest interview with Nicki Minaj, right? So I hope you folks enjoyed the show, and I appreciate you for watching. Just give me one quick. Yeah, so all right, with that being said, remember, I must say one love and respects. Thank you for watching. And remember, wherever you are in the world, remember to question everything. Because if you don't, you may fall for anything. All right? Think and say. Have a good day.